Welcome back. Quick update on the L322. It's had quite a busy time so far in 2026. I put 9 tanks of fuel through it so far this year, and I did an oil change at Christmas, but I'm going to do another oil change now. And I'm quite curious to do something that I've never done before, and that's send some of the oil off for analysis. I'm quite interested to see what sort of results comes back. In terms of oil dilution from fuel, this should be about as good as it gets, because this car has not been used for pretty much any short journeys so far this year. And the oil has only been in here for, let's say, 9 tanks of fuel. So what's that? That's about 3,500 miles, I think, which is well below the recommended 20,000 if you buy a new Range Rover. So let's wheel it in the garage and get it up on some stands. I'll show you how I get the oil out. I get the oil out from underneath instead of sucking it out the top. I figure gravity is probably my best servant for changing the engine oil on a car. So that's how I do it. All right, this is how I get the oil out. A bit more light on the matter. This is the equivalent of a sump plug. It's got 2 clips on it here. You push it with your fingers and you've got to pull this out. But if you just pull it out all the way, you basically get all the oil firing out of here onto this cross member, and it goes everywhere. So the trick is to have a suitable size screwdriver to lever this off so it starts flowing. So you don't want to take this off all the way, but I'm going to give it a bit of a clean up because I've got a little sample bottle to collect 80 ml for my engine oil analysis. Trying to give it a quick spray of old brake cleaner without getting it on my £1,000 iPhone 15 Pro Max. Key thing to try and remember is how far on this is. So by eye, that's probably between 5 and 8 mil. It's a bit of a jiggery pokery, but squeeze that and then push that, twist the screwdriver like that. So that's now released. The oil should start to flow pretty soon. Nearly. There we go. Let's just get that filled up. Right, that's that done. And now I can concentrate on just... I haven't undone the oil filter for this. I think that also helps control the flow. So that's all going in. So I can just leave that now. Go and make a cup of tea. Good. Whenever you do work on your own cars, you always find there's lots of cardboard boxes arriving. The latest from Maltings. This is just engine oil, and there's 10 1-litre bottles, which is a bit of a faff, but it saved about 15 quid, I think. Just having a quick look down here. Obviously I fitted a new OEM, the Manhummel oil cooler, a while ago. All looks good. Can't see any signs of fluid where it shouldn't be. So let's just get the new filter back on. Right, that's 5 down. 5 to go. I think I'll put about 9.5 litres in. I seem to remember I just dumped 10 litres in once and it was actually too much, which was a right faff. That's 9 litres in. So I'm going to stick half of this one in and then check the oil this afternoon to watch my son play hockey. 300 ml left, so I've put 9.7 litres in. We'll see how that goes. So that's the oil done. Oil cap on. Right, through the magic of editing, I've got the results back. Good news, I'm really pleased to say. Generally, everything is within spec. I'll do a quick rundown of what we've got. There's wear metals and there's other stuff. I'll do the other stuff first. First of all, fuel dilation, 1%. That's probably indicative of the fact that I've used this car this year so far for long journeys only. So the fuel hasn't had a chance to get anywhere near the oil. Soot, 0.4%. I'm sure that's good. I don't know have a figure for what's good, what's bad on soot, or fuel dilation for that matter, but they both seem pretty low to me. What else? So let's have a look at the wear metals. The only ones that's showing on this particular report are boron, which is 41 parts per million, and iron, Fe, that's 25 parts per million. Boron, satisfactory level is 50 parts per million apparently, and iron is 100 parts per million. Boron is an additive in antifreeze. It's also an extreme pressure additive in some oils, so it's possible the oil has boron in it. So obviously you'll find it in the oil sample. Just on the antifreeze, if you have a water leak, you'll probably have very high sodium levels. Sodium is Na on this result, and I've got 1 part per million of sodium in my oil. So I know there's no issue with antifreeze leaking into the oil. Obviously the main cause of that in an L322 is probably when the oil cooler gives up the ghost. But doing an oil sample is fairly unnecessary. You just have to check the expansion bottle, and if it's black, then your first port of call is to change your oil cooler. I could go through each and every one of these particular results to string out the length of the video, but to be quite honest, as you can see, all the results are extremely low, apart from the boron and the iron. The iron is well within any limits. Anything less than 100 is acceptable apparently. One thing that I thought was quite interesting, aluminium, 4 parts per million. That can be caused by piston or bearing wear. I'd be interested to see what that score was in a 3 litre TDV6 engine, because I think that's probably much higher if you've got a 3 litre that's on the way out. I shall probably do this maybe in another 10,000 miles or so, just to see if there's any particular changes. I shall also do it if I happen to get another car, to see how that compares to the Range Rover. Anyway, I hope you found this useful. If you have, please do subscribe and also like it. And if there's a hype button, could you also just press that for me? I'm not really sure what it does, but it sounds great. Take care of yourselves, and I hope to see you again soon.